Thank you guys for tuning in to the #1 podcast in Houston. We are the Yacht Club. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. And today we're sitting down with Lilly Aviana. And she has an amazing voice. We were just listening to your album, Late Bloom, earlier. And you give me kind of like modern Erykah Badu vibes a little bit. And I think, is all of your music instrumental? What do you call it? Like live instruments? Yeah.
No, it's actually not. I had producers, they just like sent me beats and stuff, and I mean they did a good job making it. There was a couple of songs that did have live instrumentation, like guitars and sax and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's so cool. And then you said whenever you perform live, you do have a live band sometimes?
Majority of the time, yeah, I do have bands. There's only been like a couple of shows that I've done by myself, but yeah, the majority of the time it's been me.
Nice. How long have you been singing? And do you take vocal lessons? Because you sound amazing.
Thanks, dude. No, I've been singing like since I was a kid. I started in choir like since first grade, but I've been singing since like 4. So I've been in choir. I guess that's kind of like vocal coaching, like, like being taught, but it's really helped a lot. But yeah, I was up until all the way into college, so I guess that's the only training that I really had, but yeah.
Nice. So you knew your entire life this is what you wanted to go into, this is what you wanted to pursue. Can you talk about how you developed your unique sound?
I mean, just growing up, listening to all the music that my mom brought me up on. She listened to a lot of like blues, like B.B. King and shit like that, and like a lot of like funk, like Parliament and Casey and the Sunshine Band. So a lot of, and even like rock, all of those influences. And I started listening, like my sister, I have an older sister, so of course like she listened to all that R&B and so I mean just from a young age I've always been listening to like real soulful music. So, that's really where a lot of my sound comes from, I guess. Yeah, pretty much.
And how long have you been doing live shows? And can you talk about the process on how because you didn't seem nervous at all. Were you? I don't know. But can you talk about how that came about or how you got so good at performing live?
So I've only really started performing in November of 2018. And that's like when I first started doing shows for real. And it was nerve-wracking at first. I mean, it definitely, like, when you start doing shows more and more, you kind of just get used to it, I guess. But, yeah, no, it's definitely nerve-wracking at times. Because, like, I don't know why I get so nervous, but I'm just like, you know what? You can sing, so just fuck it, go out there and sing. Am I allowed to cuss?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so, that's pretty much it, like... No, but like after a while, like just like seeing how the crowd interacts with you and like how they respond to it, it just is kind of like, all right, this is fucking fun. Like I'm gonna do this all the time. So.
And didn't you dance at one point too? And you have like dancers and stuff?
No.
No. I thought I saw some videos on your Instagram. Maybe they were a while back.
She's like, those are so low.
Yeah. I'm remembering. I don't know if it was you or another singer, but I'm pretty sure it was you.
Yeah, backup singers for sure. I've had like 2 shows that I've had backup singers. Never dancers, but for sure singers.
Behind you. That's so cool. What's like a show that you remember that was your favorite that was like, wow, this is it for me?
Honestly, probably, okay, the first show that I was like, wow. Well, I always knew that this was for me, but like, there was a show that we had that High Thoughts threw, and it was at the barn, and that shit was live. But my funnest show, I think, was Axelrad with Bounce and Turn. That shit was tight. Like, it was packed out. People were singing my music. Oh, it was so amazing. It was so fun.
That's so cool. And you're performing there for New Year's too, right?
Yeah, I'm performing there for New Year's. I think on the main stage, hopefully, so we'll see.
Super cool.
Okay, so I am super into music since I was a kid. So I'm like super critical. But she played your music and I was a little bit like taken back because I couldn't find anything that I had an issue with. So I want to know about the process you go to structure your songs. Like, do you mix them yourself? Do you have an engineer? Do you have someone you trust at this point? And then how did that process start? Because I know it's like, I got so many buddies that are in music, and a couple of them are at a level that I'd say they're good now, but that process of them figuring out their sound and then having it produced properly, because quality makes a huge difference in music too. So can you walk me through like the process of when like you kind of first made your first song? Like how long ago was that, and how did it sound, to you actually developing to the point of like, now where do you go to get your shit done?
So the first song that I released, I mean, I've been writing music forever, but I was just like never serious about it. It was Deprived, and that was back in 2016. And that song alone like got a lot of plays, and I released it on SoundCloud. And man, I wish I knew about like distributors back then, because I had so many plays on that house. It was wild.
Okay.
And it was in like the 10,000s, like. And for that time, like being that you know, it's just like, damn, it's kind of live. And so, that was the first one. And then I stopped doing music for a while. And back in, I think it was 2017 or 18, I think I released a couple of other songs, which is Untitled and Issues. But those were just like little tracks that we did. And then, but during that process, like I was writing my album. So writing, like the first album that I released was Late Bloom, and it took me 2 years to write. I was writing it for a good 2 years. So, and I'm also trying to craft my sound. Like I really stopped listening to music for a while, and just really focused on what felt good to me and what felt natural to me, and. Writing Late Bloom was a process, because I really had to talk about experiences and things that I went through, and revisit old things that people don't want to revisit sometimes. So it was a really long process of writing, and I really didn't start recording until I felt like I had the songs down. I knew exactly how I wanted it to sound. I had them memorized. I had, all the harmonies laid out, and, just all that. And then I would go record. And I basically only recorded with Jason. He works at Barron Studios. And that's pretty much who I only trust with mixing my music right now. And, he did the whole Late Bloom. He pretty much recorded all my songs, to be honest, if we're being real. And has mixed all of them, so... Yeah, that was pretty much the process of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I know like finding that right sound and then the person to make you sound the same, like as perfect every time is like a hard find. But when you get it, I know it's something beautiful. So walk me through the process of you actually developing the mental state of being like, music is what I want to pursue. Like, when did you really know that this was it for you? Besides the fact that you knew you were singing, right? Because there's a lot of people out there in the world that know how to sing, but a lot of people don't know how to take that talent and then now turn it into a business at that point, and develop yourself as a brand.
Yeah. I think, when you're passionate about something, even from a young age, you already know what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, I always knew that I wanted to be a singer. There was really nothing else that I wanted to do. And being in choir my whole academic career and my whole, even my whole career now, like I work at a studio, I work around music, I work around artists all the time. So I'm always around music. So I knew that this is always something that I wanted to do. There wasn't ever a doubt in my mind. And so like I said, from a young start, I knew I wanted to do that. And I don't excel in anything better than this. And I know that, like, this is my way of life. This is a lifestyle. And, you already know what comes with it. But, when it's something, like I said, that you're passionate about, it really doesn't matter at that point, because you're doing something you love. Yeah. And that's a career.
Yeah.
That's a career to me.
100%. So what was the first instance that grabbed you in? Because now I feel like you're more in the spotlight now. And you're understanding how to pave your path into like stardom, right? Where was that first instance? Like, when did that occur to you? Did someone reach out to you and be like, hey, I want you to perform? Did you grind your way into a scenario, or were you showing up to local spots to just get your name out there?
So the first show that I did was actually a show that the studio that I work for, they threw. And after that, people were hitting me up for shows and stuff. But then, like I said, I stopped. And then I performed back in November for the first time again after 2 years. And after that, it's just like, I'm not trying to be big-headed. Like, I'm a very humble person. But, when someone has talent, that's undeniable. Like, people will reach out to you if they really, mess with your sound. They really fuck with you like that. So, really, it's just been by, just being blessed, honestly, because opportunities just come like crazy this year. Like, we've done a lot of shows. Yeah. It's crazy. So, that's pretty much.
No, I believe it, because most of actually, you know what? To be totally honest, I don't think I know a female artist really that like is in even like I know like a lot of guys that do music, but there's like maybe a select few that I know that have talent. But you actually sound, because you sing, right? I think rapping and singing are two different things. I think rapping is like I think you can learn singing too, but when you have a voice, especially when you have like a distinct voice, like yours stood out. Like, she started playing you and I was like, who is that? And you're like, she's coming right now. And then I sat down and actually started listening, and I can just imagine how many more emails and DMs and phone calls you're gonna get over the years. So what's your take on social media? I know this is like a huge topic that like streamers that tune into us always like email us about, is like, can you get more people to talk about social media, and like, is it really that important to be on social media? For us, we talk about it all the time. We think it's the most important thing, at least for our space. What about you?
Absolutely. I feel like if it wasn't for social media, people would just be outside singing in corners still, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I know it's vital, but it's the way you present yourself on social media is what really attracts people, to take you serious as an artist. You have to put out the right content. You have to put out content that, is embodied by your music, like all that stuff. So, yeah, definitely social media is very important. Yeah. Gotta reach out to people somehow, and you can do shows. Yeah, people can do shows all the time, but you can reach wider audiences through social media, because people will share things, and then those people will see that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I feel like we were just talking about it too, because I feel like social media is like home base now. Like, that's your office. Like, I don't think you really need you don't really need business cards anymore. You quite literally, with like online e-commerce or brands, you don't even need like a storefront anymore. Like, instead of driving to a store, you can just go to someone's social media pages and kind of understand what they do and shop or collaborate through that platform. Are you on TikTok? How do you feel about TikTok?
I haven't really gotten on TikTok yet. Like, I'm really only with like Instagram and Twitter, and like I guess sometimes Facebook, but not really. But yeah, no, not TikTok. I heard it's funny. Yeah, I got it.
You'll get on there soon, I think. Okay, so before I pass it back to Desante, because I know she has more she wants to ask, who were your inspirations? Like, I know you said you listened to a lot of music growing up with your mom. Like, you said you released your first song 3 years ago about now, right? 2016. So like, who was it at that time? And do you still pay attention to who these people are? Do you still listen to people now? Or have you kind of, because I know a lot of people just like to listen to their own music so they don't get like, their mind doesn't waver.
I've always been inspired by like Erykah Badu and Lauryn Hill.
So you hit it on the dime, huh?
Yeah. And people like Mariah Carey, Aaliyah, people like that, like old R&B, like 90s, 2000s R&B. But yeah, I still listen to a lot of the older music still. I listen to a lot of new artists now too, like Daniel Caesar, Toro y Moi, just a bunch of different artists. But yeah, those are my main inspirations.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think you're the first person I've met. Because Houston's like such a hip hop city, and I feel like you're paving this, like, you're going down the unique path of like superstars, like people that go a little bit higher than like rappers do. So it's cool. It's interesting to see.
It's really refreshing to see talent too, because a lot of like the up and coming Houston artists are just I guess you can tell when someone's been dedicated enough for a long time versus the ones that have just been doing it for a couple months and they're like, oh, I want to rap now or I want to sing now. So it's pretty cool. I was going to ask you.
Pedro, Space Up? Maybe not. I guess you have a fan. Someone who's DM does. I love her voice.
That's funny. Oh, how do you know Dende?
When was the first time I met Dende? I think it was at living room. So no, definitely wasn't that. I don't remember the first time I met him, but I remember like hearing his music and hearing his voice, and I was just like, dang, like yeah. But I can't remember the first time I met him.
You can say it.
Satellite Bounce and Turn.
Satellite Bounce and Turn. That's right. That is right.
How long ago?
That was in like February, I think.
March 2nd.
March 2nd. Oh, he knows it. Okay. He had to show it. Yeah, that was the first time I heard him. I remember like hearing him. He had a guitar, and I was like, I want to sing with him. Like I want to do a song with him.
Do you guys have a song?
Yeah, we actually do have one coming out. He's about to drop an album. I'm featured on that hoe. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh shit, sorry.
What do you do to market? Do you mostly find your networking through shows or through social media like we were talking about?
Most of the time it's through social media for sure. But I've made a lot of connections through doing shows, you know, because you never know who's out there watching. But yeah, usually it's through social media for sure.
And are you working on anything currently?
I actually am. I'm working on a couple of singles that I want to drop. I just need to record them and stop bullshitting on the cool. It's just like once you get so consumed with doing shows, like I feel like we've just been like boom, 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 boom with shows. Like you kind of just like don't even think about creating. That's why I'm gonna take a break and like after January I'm taking. That's probably a lie. Yeah. Yeah.
Do these singles maintain the same sound as that your album does?
No, not really. They're a lot more upbeat. I decided I want to start doing more upbeat stuff because, you know, I'm trying to get it popping, you know, the shows. I don't want to like always be singing about sad shit. So yeah, we got some funky shit coming out. It's gonna be tight. I'm excited for it.
I love the concept for Late Bloom. What was the quote?
I'm actually pulling it up right
You
now.
are.
I love it so much too.
You can probably
A
see
flower does not think of competing with the flower next to it. It just blooms.
it. Wait, say it into the microphone.
Oh, that was I guess a quote from that dude. I don't remember his name.
Yeah. So I mean, I resonated with it. It goes, a flower does not think about the flower next to it. It just blooms. So I mean, that's like, actually, you know what? Tell me about it. Like, what's your thought on the quote?
Pretty much. You know, like I said, just grow in your own time, you know, don't try to follow anyone else's steps, stay true to yourself always, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like don't rush things happen for everyone on different times, you know what I mean? So, you know, you just got to do you and stay in your lane and stay grounded.
Okay, so what's your stance on, and I know, and this might not be a typical case for you, but I would assume it is because you're starting to see success. What's your outlook on like regimen and routine? And do you live by a specific routine or a specific like day-to-day operational basis that you like to follow so you can function properly mentally? Like I'll give you an example. It's her, for example. Like she likes to go to sleep at a certain time and she wakes up at 5 every morning and she has to do yoga and go to the gym and then get coffee and then she starts her day. And I'm more of, I stay up really late to get my work done and wake up a little bit later and stuff like that.
I definitely don't have a regimen for like, as far as like creating and stuff. Like, I think the most common thing for me is I just write in the car, like whenever I feel like it, or if something comes to me, or I feel like singing. I check my emails every day. That's pretty much it.
Well, if you want to get
Hit me up on my email. Do not DM me because most of the time I will not respond, honestly. So yeah. But yeah, it's just like I think for creatives it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like some people are organized, some people aren't. Some people are just like scattered everywhere.
Yeah.
Like I won't. sometimes I can write every day, sometimes I write every month. Like, yeah, it gets like that.
So since you're a music artist, and I guess this goes with anybody actually listening, tell me about rejections you've faced in your lifetime. There's got to be some, so don't tell me you're perfect. Tell me about some rejections you've faced and had to like combat with them, and how'd you handle them? And then like, because I know once you get, for me for example, once I get rejected one time, at this point it no longer affects me, and I'm able to just like move on with it through a thought process of just, all right, what's the next thing? So like, what's something, give me an example of a time you went through something that kind of irked at you, and then at that point it helped you develop like a harder shell to kind of get past it in the future.
Low-key, I feel like the only time that I got rejected that I was like, damn, that's some bullshit, I tried out for The Voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I actually made it to like the preliminary rounds.
Yeah.
And like they did an interview for me, and I was young, and like, you know, I was, you know, kind of stupid, and like, you know, they were like, well, how was high school for you? And I was like, it was fun, I partied a lot, like, and I'm pretty sure that's not what they're trying to hear. Like, they want to fucking, like, I guess someone like an inspiration or some shit, but I was just like, yeah. So I think that's why I didn't get accepted to the next round. That shit kind of hurt, but I was like, you know what, this ain't shit, like, so like when you get rejected, guys, fuck it, like, life goes on. It's not the fucking end of the world. Just keep it pushing. Yeah. Keep doing your thing. You're gonna get a lot of no's, but you know, it's cool. Like, shit happens.
Yeah.
Do you have a team that you work with? Like, how did you find the people that play with you at shows, and then what is the rehearsal like?
Can I backdoor that really quick too? Who are the people that you show your music to before you release it to that have to like be like, all right, yeah, it's cool? Or do you not even take criticism like that? You're like, fuck it, I know it sounds good.
So about like rehearsal, okay, so I've actually reached out to, like, on Twitter, I was just like, I need a bassist, I need a drummer, I need a keyboardist, I need a guitarist, and then like they just like randomly hit me up, like DMs, and I was like, bet, like you work, all right, let's go. And then like, you know, from there we had like modifications with some people, but for the most part we've been like a set little band. Like, it's most of the time it's me, Eric, Brian, Tino, he plays talk box, he's an artist too, y'all should check him out. And yeah, me, Brian, Eric, Tino, Isaac, and Lewis. But yeah, no, rehearsals are cool. I mean, it's kind of hard, you know, like keeping up with the band and trying to schedule rehearsals and whatnot. Oh, and Trent plays sax. Shout out to Trent. Yeah, trying to get everyone scheduled at the same time to rehearse and stuff, it's tough, but it's fun, like getting together and jamming out, you know what I mean? But and what did you ask me? I'm sorry. The process.
You make a song, and after it's been mixed and produced,
Oh.
are there specific people that you have to get the okay from, just so you're like, all right, I know, like, this person's not going to BS with me, like, they'll tell me if it's...
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have people that I definitely, you know, reach out to and show them my music, but for the most part, it's me. Like, I'm more critical of my work than I think anybody else would ever be, because I know what I hear in my own self that's wrong, and I'm like, I could hit that better, or I can do this better, and I can hit this stronger. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely people I'm like, all right, listen to this, and then like if they think it's jamming, then I'm like, okay, good, all right. As long as it jams, it's good. Yeah, that's fine.
So it's just you don't have like a team that works behind you and it's like, hey, let's get this show together, like management. That's what I meant.
No, I don't have a manager. Most of the time it's just me. I'm just kind of working as my own boss right now. I pretty much put everything together. Like, I mean, other than like the shows that reach out to me and like ask me, you know, whatever. But yeah, mainly it's me. Like, all the content that I put out is me. All the flyers, I try to make as many flyers. Like, if I'm throwing my own show, like I would make the flyers, shit like that. Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm like hearing your album, I'm surprised you're not already signed or something. Yeah. Would you consider being, like, if someone were to reach out to you and want to sign you, would you do it, or would you stick to the indie route? And I know that's like really popular now too.
I would love to, you know, stick to the indie route, just like do my thing. But I mean, if the price is right, and you know what I mean, like if the contract checks out, like it's not like no hoe shits in there, like no hoe ass shit, like yeah, then I mean that it's a case by case basis, but I mean we'll see what God got stored for me. So
Yeah. What if a label reached out to you and gave you a budget you couldn't reject, but they were like, you have to do what we say now, but it's like an undeniable amount?
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't take it. No amount of money in the world could make somebody control how the fuck I sing, how I sing shit, how I create. No, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's a true artist.
So my buddy, he lives here too. He's local. He got signed to Strong Arm, and I'm talking about Rome, and he got signed to like Flow Rida's label, and they put him on a deal to where they gave him a budget. And then on the contract, it said that he would have to pay back that budget with bringing in revenue. And is that something you would be open to doing? And the reason why I ask is because he got fucked. He wasn't able to produce proper content, and his music never hit off. And now he has still debt till this day with that company. But do you feel confident enough into where you're like, okay, I could run with, let's say, $1 million of a budget, and then in 1 year, let's say they give you 12 months, we're going to give you all these resources, we're going to give you this artist to collaborate with, we're going to put you on these platforms, but you have to make sure that your music's good enough to pick up with an audience?
I think I would rather have a distribution deal. I want to own my masters.
Yeah.
I want to go to I can afford studio time, like if I'm making money off my music. So I'd rather just do that, just have like, if I got a distribution deal with say Sony or some shit, they just release my music and do their thing with it, But yeah, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Stay away.
Yeah, no.
What's the grand vision look like for you? The grand vision, like where do you want to be, and how soon is it going to happen? Because I know you speak this stuff into reality. So tell us when you're going to be performing at Staples Center or Toyota Center.
Very soon, very, very soon. I have a lot of faith in what we're doing. My producers and my band, like they're awesome. So I definitely see this on a larger scale. Like I'm talking big money. Yeah. I want to say a year. I'm going for a year. That's that shit happens in a year. It happen a fucking day. Like so, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I would usually call shit out, but I don't even doubt it. Your shit's pretty. Your shit's pretty on point. So I could see it happening.
Is there anything you want to touch on? What can we expect from you in the next 6 months?
Oh wait, hold on. This is gonna release the 3rd week of January. Okay. So if you have anything going on at that time or about to happen, you can talk about it right now.
3rd week of January. I don't think anything right now. February 8th, I have a show out in Huntsville. So anybody that's in Huntsville, come through 12th Street Bar. I've never been out there, but shit, yeah. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I don't know. There's nothing really going on right now. All my shows are kind of packed up right now until January. I guess I'm trying to go on tour in April. I'm going to New York in January, January 23rd through the 26th. So if you're trying to book me on the 23rd, holla at your girl on the 24th. I got a show the 25th out there, so we're gonna do our thing.
Super cool. And then you're working on singles right now that are probably going to release next year?
Probably in the next couple months for sure. Yeah, we're just trying to get that. Well, I got to get it recorded first too. So, but as far as producing and stuff, yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for tuning in today. We are the #1 podcast in Houston on all streaming services. This is now a statistical fact. You can catch us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and whatever other links, Desanti links below. We're going to have all of everybody's links all around the video, all over Instagram. So please follow us, follow her, like our stuff, and tune back in. We'll be releasing an audio segment every single day again until December 8th, 2020. We appreciate you. Bye.